Well, hello. I think I messed up the timing of today's show. I believe it's actually 5:15 in the East Coast, not 4:15. So I got that wrong. Whoops. So it might be a cozy little show. I see Bobby Digital's in the chat. It might just be me and you, Bobby, for a while. So get cozy, get comfortable, and let's just see if people figure out that the show is live or not. But if not, that's okay. We'll just run through a few things. Maybe it'll be a little short show. Maybe we'll just talk, me and you, Bobby. Oh, here's Perfect Zero. Okay, people are showing up. So maybe the counter is a little messed up. I don't know. But nice to see the two of you in the chat. Um, but I had a couple things that I thought we could talk about. Obviously, there was this big old drama on NBA Top Shot. So we can start with some NBA Top Shot news because I think it might have even been on last Thursday, when we had some drama on the Top Shot streets. Don't we love that? And that's when you see the people that are very bullish on Top Shot say like, this is great. This shows that people care. Look at the bleeding hearts all over the timeline. People are really caring about Top Shot. This is perfect. And then you also see the fudders, the people who want to kind of kick people when they're down, say, oh, you see, I told you, Top Shot's cooked. Look at this. Top Shot's cooked. Sell everything. So basically what happened, if you're not aware, but I imagine anyone tuning into this show is aware, but they're running in a promotion with Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce has a few new vintage vibes moments, not unlike Dwayne Wade, who has his own vintage vibe fiasco. And, it's actually kind of funny to think about that because Dwayne Wade and Paul Pierce were kind of a main talking point on NBA TV, with Jalen Rose kind of punking Paul Pierce when Paul Pierce was claiming that he had a better career than Dwayne Wade. I'm a Boston stan, so of course I'm going to say that Paul Pierce is the better player, and I like Paul Pierce more, but I think Dwayne Wade most likely had the better career. But anyways, Peachy's here. Hello, Peachy. How are you, sir? Anyway, so yeah, that's the background. Vintage vibes, Paul Pierce. I believe they were numbered to what was it, 2,500 each? See, now I'm going to get the numbers screwed up, and you're going to get mad at me. Let me see. I opened one of my Paul Pierce moments, so let me see what's the circulating count on that. It is 4,999. There's 3 of them. So 15,000 Paul Pierce moments for the taking. But meanwhile, NBA.com, NBA ID, had its own plans and were doing a NBA Top Shot promotion in their Giving Back to the Fans week. And there was NBA Top Shot's promotion, free Paul Pierce pack. Just by opening it, you can meet the legend alongside other offerings that they had too, things like Gatorade and Nike and what have you. So, by the looks of it, that email was pretty successful. And so, the way this works, of course, is if that is your email offering, and you see that maybe there's too many people taking you up on that offer, then you're going to start to run into some issues. And so, what happened was, and I don't know all the details, but what I understand is that the Top Shot team then said, "All right, too many people are getting these free packs, and we don't have enough to go around, so we need more of these things." So they floated out the idea of throwing out an additional 1,500 circulation of these 3 Paul Pierce moments, so that an extra 4,500 people could get these packs, right? And that caused the biggest shit stirring I have seen in all my days, maybe, or at least in a very long time on Top Shot. The entire timeline was on fire. Some of the biggest collectors were also incredibly upset, including JJL and Boston Base, who have massive collections. And that was probably the first time I had ever seen people that you could kind of classify as whales saying that they are super sick and tired of whatever's going on Top Shot. So, yeah, that was kind of crazy and a little sobering to read that. So I responded, and I have some understanding of what's going on behind the scenes because I worked internally for a few months there when you guys were receiving the best Top Shot emails that you've ever seen. That was when I was there. Anyways, so I have some idea of how things work, and also just from like common sense of someone who understands online marketing and understanding that that was the offering, I understood like why they did what they did. I think the biggest problem though was that there were, first of all, we hadn't heard of these like possibly larger circulations since like S2. So that was 4 years ago or something, or 3 years ago, that the last time we even heard of that happening with moments. So well, these moments might be larger in circulation at some point. Maybe they won't. Maybe they will. Although maybe that's wrong, because with the all-star moments, it also depends on how many people reserve them and so forth. But anyways, people freaked out because there were some areas on the website that said that that could not happen with these moments, that they were limited edition. And I think that there were other areas on the website where these moments were shown as CC, or circulating count, that could increase. So that was kind of a quality control issue, and people freaked out. And so people started thinking, well, why couldn't they do that to all my moments? Why could they just decide to, make all my moments bigger in circulation? And the reason why this was a really bad decision by Top Shot is because of the fact that people are already buying these moments. The people were already buying perfect serials of this moment, potentially. People already making decisions, such as stacking decisions, based on how many of this moment they thought would be available. And so luckily, and after a lot of back and forth on Twitter and on Discord and people losing their damn mind, Top Shot finally came back and said, you know what, thank you for your feedback. And we've revisited this issue, and we're going to lock it down at the count it's already at, and we won't be adding anything more to it. And that's the end of the story. Now, I don't know actually how that affects people trying to get more packs through that NBA email. Hopefully it still is under that total number. Otherwise, if not, what I suggested in my thread was that they just give away other moments. They don't have to be Paul Pierce moments, but you can still be entered to win the Paul Pierce hangout. So that is what happened there. It was really crazy. It was a lot of drama, and it's good at least to see that that's over with. So that happened like right after my stream last week. So we get to talk about it now a few days later after cooler heads have prevailed, hopefully. So hopefully you are all feeling okay about that issue. No one still has their feelings hurt. Everyone's feeling okay. And if we take a look at what else has gone on in Top Shot in the last week, Top Shot is now on OpenSea. So that's kind of interesting. I'll be honest, I'm not like nerdy enough to truly understand why OpenSea, Top Shot and OpenSea is like something to get really excited about. Um, I get the idea just in general that having Top Shot in as many places as possible is a positive thing. So I can see that. But I as kind of an analytical person, I was kind of wondering like what does this mean exactly? Like, are more people buying moments? Are there more new people buying moments? And as you can see here, here is the OpenSea graphic or website, and you can see that right there. Top Shot, 8,000 items are listed. Um, it's the Flow blockchain. It's interesting too because you have to use Flow to buy it. So I don't know how that works. I guess you have to have it in your wallet. It is cool though, just to see the moments. Somewhere else that's not on Top Shot. And I think that what gets people excited about this is it kind of drives home the point that these moments belong to you and that they can be bought and sold off the platform. And I think that there's people who are big, like Web3 people who really like that. But I'll be honest, I don't really know how much of an impact this has or just for now or for whenever in the future. I was trying to look at like the activity, but I don't even really know how to use um I don't really know how to use this website anymore. It used to show you a chart where you could see what was happening. You can just see right now though, if you just look, you can see that buys are happening like fairly frequently. Not really big buys though. As far as I can tell, these are mostly cheap moments. Although I would say that this does appear to be like higher than the floaty floor. So that's kind of interesting too. You could potentially go to floaty and buy a bunch of these floor moments and then list them on OpenSea and make like 25 cents a pop. I don't even know what's the floor right now on floaty, but if you want to do that, a little arbitrage, you can go ahead and do that. But anyway, so I guess it's good. I again, I don't really understand it fully. I did see that there were some Twitter accounts like making videos on it. So if you ask me, that probably means that like the flow side, the kind of flow stands probably hooked it up with some video creators on Twitter, and because you did see some videos being created about this and like why this was a big deal. 28,000 flow of volume. I don't even know what flow is worth right now. Like what flow coin price? What's it worth? It's worth 42 cents. So let's just call it half of that. So $14,000 of volume so far on OpenSea. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's good. I honestly, I don't know. I think the point is if it's new people coming from OpenSea, then that's obviously what you want to see, because the whole idea when you're working with marketing, and especially with Top Shot, is you just want to like get them into the Top Shot world, and then they can start having fun collecting, connecting, being interviewed by Banana Banking Mac, um, playing Fast Break, just all that stuff, right? You got to get them into our ecosystem. And I think that for that reason, this is good. And I think, the more the merrier, the more outlets that we can introduce people into Top Shot and people can use their moments, the better. Okay. So what else, guys? What else do you want to talk about? Someone did request talking about this dude on the Spurs who broke a record. So Spurs center Sandro Mamukelashvili. Let's guess. Where do you think Sandro Mamukelashvili is from? Serbia? I don't know. But his name is definitely Sandro Mamukelashvili. And he's a center, and he scored 34 points on 13 for 14 shooting in 19 minutes. He became the first player in NBA history to score 34 points while playing less than 20 minutes. So pretty incredible. Let's see if he's from Serbia. Am I right or wrong? Where is he from? He is Georgian American. So I think that's close. Where's Georgia? Is it next to Serbia? Georgia next to Serbia. Let me Google it and see if I'm right. Well, it says it takes 2 days to get there by train. So it's not that close, unfortunately. Georgia on a map. Let's go. Let's see it, folks. Let's see it. I'm looking on a map right now. Are we near Serbia? Hold on. Hold on. Mm, are we? I'm looking and I'm not even sharing my screen with you guys. It's basically above Turkey. I don't know where Serbia is anymore, actually. Anyway, I guess not. I don't know. There's probably someone in the chat who knows where Serbia is and can tell me, but I don't know. Anyway, Peachy's a big Spurs fan over here, and he's very happy. And that's so Spurs lucky, isn't it? That Victor Wembanyama drops out of the season due to injury, and then this Georgian sensation just picks it right back up and breaks an NBA record. Pretty cool. What else is going on? Let's see. What else is going on? The Boston Celtics were sold for $6 billion. That's pretty amazing. An American businessman named William Chisholm. So I now want to know what William Chisholm does. What do you guys want to guess? What does William Chisholm do? Let's check it out. Any guesses in the chat? I'm going to say, I don't know. He's in finance. Let's see. Bill Chisholm, American businessman who is the managing partner and chief investment officer for the Symphony Technology Group. What is that? It's an American private equity firm based in California. So there you go. Private equity. Fun, fun, fun. That's the guy who just bought the Celtics. He led a group. And there's other news, of course. We saw Tracy Morgan vomiting on the courts. Yes, I'm not going to share the photo of that because it's quite disgusting. It's like projectile vomiting downward. Really gross stuff. Very gross. I don't know why, like, every sports account decided like they had to post that picture. What the hell is that about? I guess people just love seeing vomit, right? That has to be the reason. People love seeing celebrities vomit or just vomit in general. I didn't know vomit was so hot right now, but people love vomit. And there were a lot of videos and photos of Tracy Morgan puking on the floor at Madison Square Garden as he watched the Miami Heat play the Knicks. And I guess that's fair to feel a little bit sick watching Stan Love's Miami Heat. They are terrible. And they make you feel sick and want to throw up. But apparently Tracy Morgan had food poisoning. And then also it's sort of a microcosm too of like the way social media works. Jared said, vomit courtside is very entertaining. Okay, then. I must say, though, it was impressive that no one else vomited. I would have thought that someone puking right next to you might make you want to vomit as well. Hello, Jared. Nice to see you here. So, yeah, good on the people there that didn't vomit as well when Tracy Morgan was vomiting right next to them, because I would think that, you might feel a little sick watching someone else vomit right next to you. I'm glad we can cover the important subjects today. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on. Otherwise, I told you guys about Game Changer Media, right? And we're having some people from the community make some fun articles there on that website. And the latest one was an article by Aaron, aka Rock Doggy, who wrote about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Are the Cleveland Cavs really for real? And I thought that this was kind of an interesting thing to talk about right now, because the Cleveland Cavs actually just lost 3 games in a row. So is it time to panic? Not really. The Cleveland Cavs are still 6 games ahead of the Boston Celtics, although, as the article states, their odds to win are actually, they are an underdog to win the Eastern Conference, while the Celtics are the clear favorites. And this Cleveland Cavaliers stan, Aaron Rock Doggy, he believes that this is incorrect and that the Cavs are on quite a tear and that they are going to make it happen. And what I want you to see when you read this article, again, folks, I want you to see that these cool videos are integrated automatically into the article, which is something that in 5 years we never saw. It took the Tandy Man to do a little bit of coding, do a little HTML. They call it HTML. And then you can scroll and read about players and read about the Cavs and see the moments as they are being described in the text, like this Donovan Mitchell 35 performance against the Celtics. So there you go. That is the article on the Cavs. If you haven't checked it out yet, please go give it a read at gamechangermedia.com and let Aaron Rock Doggy know what you think. Are the Cavs going to get it done this year, or are they going to fade when the playoffs start, as has happened every other time that they didn't have LeBron James on their team? We shall see. Perfect Serial says we need a LeBron versus Cavs finals. Maybe. I got to admit, if the Celtics don't get it done, I'm rooting for Russell Westbrook. I want to see Russell Westbrook win it. Yeah, I kind of wish Carmelo Anthony could unretire and also come to the Nuggets. But yeah, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? If Carmelo Anthony could unretire and come back to the Nuggets, that would be great. But yeah, I want to see Russell Westbrook get a championship. Jared got his Paul Pierce reward today. No drama involved. But yeah, I understand on that note, why people were freaking out. It all comes down to just good, clear communication. And sometimes in the past, Top Shot has faltered in that area. And in this case, again, it happened. But yeah, it did feel like an overreaction. But anyway, it's over with now and everyone's okay. So it's fine. Moving right along. I mean, I'm excited for what's going to happen with that Paul Pierce activation. I'm excited that there was this much interest, right? We're seeing a lot of new users, as we talked about last week, that open up those Paul Pierce packs because hopefully they're interested in not just the Paul Pierce moments, but they get interested in the platform, in the wider platform as well. Speaking of the platform, we have a brand new fast break run right now. And what I find pretty interesting about this fast break run is the fact that the pro run is very juicy. Have you guys seen the pro run already? So the pro run the last time had a little sprinkling of things that you needed on certain nights, like you needed a metallic gold moment or you needed a for the win moment. This time, every single night you need special moments in your collection. And that is super cool. This night tonight is a challenge reward night. I don't have enough challenge rewards in my collection to even complete this night. So you can see that there are 2,454 collectors who are creating a lineup tonight. And if we compare that to yesterday, which I lost, that was 3,100. And the first night was 2,900. So what that tells me is there's about 3,000 or so diehards who have very varied collections who enjoy playing Fast Break. Compare that to Fast Break Traditional or Classic. We can see that those numbers are probably going to be a lot more. So here on night one, 5,142. So there you go. And the next night, 5,481. And so far today, 5,069. We can actually set my lineup right now. You can see my lineup. Tonight is 3-pointers attempted and 3-pointers made, and there will be no Luka. I didn't know Luka was injured. So if we look at the roster, potential roster, we got to take out Luka, pick him out. And we can see there's a bunch of people that are not playable in the top 10, let's say. And oh man, Austin Reeves is also hurt. Who's playing for the Lakers today? If we go to RotoWire, we can go take a look at who's even playing on this Lakers team today. So if we share this tab instead and we go take a look at the Lakers today, Shake Milton is your starting point guard. Gabe Vincent, I don't know who is that. Jordan Goodwin, Dalton Connect, and Jackson Hayes. Wow, that is the most scuffed Lakers lineup I think I've seen in years. The Bucks are going to trounce them. All right. Well, in that case, let's see who else is playing that could hit some threes. Kobe White hits threes. Zach LaVine, Monk, DeRozan, they all hit threes. Curry, of course. Nemhard might be someone who could hit some threes. Russell Towns hits threes. Yeah. All right. So let's go take a look at my lineup and oops. Let's go. Let's go fill out the lineup. All right. So we're just missing one. We could just throw in Kevin Herter. That might just be the easy one. Let's just throw him in. So there you go. It's a very chalky lineup, but that's the way it is. The other interesting thing, by the way, the other interesting thing actually is if you go to the Collecting and Connecting show, they actually interviewed the person who won Fast Break last week, or was it the week before when they were giving away the Kia SUV? I forget the name of it. The Telluride. The Telluride. They gave away the Kia Telluride, and they interviewed the fellow who won the Kia Telluride. And it's a pretty good story. It's a pretty interesting story if you haven't seen it yet. So you can find that on the Collecting and Connecting channel. But he just talks about his strategy and how he made it happen. And so one of the interesting takeaways that I had from it is that he said that he wasn't really active in Top Shot for quite a while. So he bought Top Shot moments or packs some years ago, wasn't very active. And then what brought him back was Fast Break. And so that I found that interesting. So he was like a common collector and he was trading commons with other collectors to build his lineup. And only near the end did he start, when he knew he had a chance, he started picking up a bunch of rares and he actually picked up one legendary. And somebody, I believe from the Lakers Discord actually lent him one legendary because he needed a legendary of SGA to get across the finish line. But it's a cool episode, especially if you're somebody who enjoys the sweat of Fast Break. You'll definitely enjoy hearing from this guy. I'm actually kind of curious, though, what he plans to do with this massive car, or if he could maybe even take the credit or the money that he would buy with that car and perhaps buy a smaller car, let's say. Because in the episode, he was saying that like he almost never has anyone in his back seat in like his normal small car. So he doesn't really know what he's going to do with a massive car like that. So we'll see. But it's a cool episode either way. Peachy Luro checked it out. He said he mainly used commons. Exactly. Perfect Cereal says Russ versus the Thunder Western Conference Finals would be equally cool. I agree. There's a lot of cool matchups since Russell Westbrook has played for a ton of different teams too. But yeah, Russ versus the Thunder would be a great one. If are the Suns even in contention? I mean, I always like seeing Russ versus KD if they're even in contention. I don't even know what's going on with the Suns right now. If we go to the Western Conference, you can see here on the Western Conference, the Suns are currently, I believe that is 10 playing, or is it 11 and 12 are playing? But they're near the bottom. They have a losing record. It's just one of those teams that's really playing poorly and shouldn't be. Basically, the Suns are not playing well at all. As we've talked about previous weeks, the Mavericks are just so bad. I want someone to put them out of their misery. The Mavericks are literally like a maverick or a horse that has broken its leg in a race. And if you're not aware of what happens to horses that break their legs in races, they get taken behind the barn and that they get killed. Sorry if I had to break the news to you, but that is why I believe what we kind of should do, figuratively speaking, with the Mavericks. I mean, they are just cursed. They just keep losing all their players, and they just shouldn't be in the NBA playoffs. So I'm hopeful that they lose that spot. But as you can see, who is even going to take the spot from them? The Blazers would be a fun team. All these other teams are not very good. I mean, the Pelicans can be good at times. The Jazz are definitely tanking. So it'll be curious to see who would take that spot from the Mavericks if it would be any of these teams. I think the most fun team would probably be the Blazers, just because everyone expected them to be like the worst team in basketball, and they've actually surprised teams a little bit. So we shall see. But in terms of the playoff makeup on the Western Conference, you got the Thunder that are still just far and away the best team in the West right now. But still, like the Rockets have won their last 8 games, which is pretty amazing. And you still have teams like the Lakers. The Lakers could surprise anybody this year. You put Luka Doncic with a team of just about anyone, and he could do amazing things. It's literally what the Mavericks did last year. and the Lakers do have some great players. So could the Lakers make a run in the playoffs? They absolutely could. The Warriors are also a fun team to think about. A lot of people kind of wrote them off as well. And the West is kind of wide open. I don't really know. I mean, obviously, like the chalk choice at the moment is to come out of the West, and even though the playoffs haven't even started, would be the Thunder. But I'm going to keep my preseason pick, which I believe I did say the Nuggets. I said the same thing last year. I said Nuggets Celtics. That's still my pick. Nuggets Celtics. We shall see what happens. So Perfect Serial says it's crazy about this year's that the 6 and 7 and 8 seeds could totally go far. Yeah, absolutely. Not really on the East, but definitely on the West. The 6, 7, and 8. Any of these teams could turn it on. And that's also why I think that the NBA playoffs is such a different animal. I mean, obviously, compared to the regular season. But so if you look at how teams play defense in the playoffs compared to how teams play defense in the regular season, is totally different. And also just the way that teams rest their players and just kind of drag their feet through the regular season, and not the case at all during the playoffs. It's another reason why I believe the genie's already out of the bottle in terms of the NBA season is very long. It's very hard on players in current day for some reason. We see all these injuries. I mean, go look at Fast Break if you want to see how many injuries there are every single night. And it's a reason to shorten the regular season. But the problem is that the NBA is such a cash cow, and every game is worth millions of dollars to team owners. You literally just saw the Celtics being sold for $6 billion, that it'll just never happen. And I think that's a shame. And it's the only direction we'll go is up in terms of more games, more teams, more of everything. I don't know if there's ever been an example, probably not if I had to guess, of a league reducing the number of games in the regular season. If I'm wrong, tell me in the chat, but I would imagine that's not the case because the price of these teams keeps going up, and these are investment vehicles, whether we like it or not. And the NBA, just like other leagues, is a business, and investors want to see their investments get bigger. So the way you do that in basketball is with more games and sell more tickets and sell more merch and change your jerseys every year and make 4 alternate jerseys every year. And it doesn't matter how ugly they are because your super fans are going to buy them anyway. That's a little bit of a rant. Anyway, what else do we want to talk about? We are only at 36 minutes. I feel like this might be a short show today. But let me know in the chat, for the few of you that are here live today, if there's anything else you want to talk about. But we can talk about a little continuation of what I talked about last week. Let's just run the tangential because I like the music. Apparently my internet's not doing too well, so hopefully I'm not all choppy. But to update you on something, last week we talked about the snacks that my wife brought home. I tried some of the snacks. I did try those peanut butter Reese's Rounds, even though I told you that the peanut butter doesn't taste well inside of the rounds, and the peanut butter still does not taste good in the rounds. However, I am a fat shit. I am a fat shit. And if you're going to have, I'm not fat, but I'm kind of like skinny fat. And if you have peanut butter rounds, Reese's Rounds on my desk, I will eat them. John with the question, did you hit the X engagement total you were looking for, Tandyman? John, I hit the X engagement total. That's a good segue, actually, John. So if we go look at, let's go look at my my numbers here. Here we go. There's the X numbers. So yesterday I hit my total with 277,000 impressions, John. That's a lot of impressions. And today I already have 127,000 impressions. So basically what you have to do is over 3 months, you need 5 million impressions. I up until today, I have 5,174,000, and you can kind of tell when it started. So it started right around here. Tuesday, February 11th was the day I got 178,000 impressions. That was the day I decided to take this seriously. So it took me a little over a month after I got a lot of impressions to start going for it. And I still don't know if it's a complete waste of time. I mean, based on what Jeb and Zakarian told me, they told me that it is a complete waste of time. But once I got 178,000, like I told you guys before, I was like, that's it. I have to go for it. There's just no way I'm not going to do this. So let's see. I'll tell you in a couple of weeks if it's worth your time or not. But I will say that even if it's not worth my time, I think there's still some good to come from it. Like, today I was talking about AI, and somebody was saying something about like, I can't believe people use ChatGPT for therapy. Let me tell you something, guys. ChatGPT is really good for therapy. I mean, not if you want someone who to really challenge you and like press you on certain subjects, because that's the thing about ChatGPT is that it does kind of like align with you, which I kind of like. So, if I'm sort of angry about something or someone, it'll kind of be on your side and kind of help you talk through something. But I like that. The thing is, that's not really therapy. And so the reason I bring that up is because I replied in a tweet today. Someone was like, "Oh, I can't believe people use ChatGPT for therapy." I said something like, "I like using ChatGPT for therapy because I can repeat the same thing 100 times, and my robot doesn't get tired of me." And because of that tweet, which then got a whole lot of impressions, some guy reached out for me in the DMs, and he was actually building an app around AI and like a therapy bot that he had been working on, and he wanted to let me try it out for free. And so now I'm trying that out for free. So, you know, just if you build it, who knows what'll come? Just keep on. I have fun with it anyway. I don't even care. We'll see. If I can make like the money that it costs me for Twitter Premium, then it'll be worth it. So if I can make like $10 a month, it'll be worth it. We'll see what happens. So thanks for the question, John. I don't actually remember what the hell I was talking about before that, though. I don't remember what I was talking about, but I am now lost. I am now lost and afraid. Let's see if there's anything else we can talk about, though. We can look at the Top Shot website together. So here's the Top Shot website. We can see what's going on here. So we saw that the chasing packs, of course, take longer to sell out, but they are now sold out. The cool thing about these packs, of course, is that the risk is not $5, it's actually $3. I think these were actually a new pack. Those sold out really quickly. We had those chase packs too, I thought. Interesting as well is now we're seeing featured packs from the pack marketplace on the homepage. That is something new. We have not seen that before. So that's interesting. And these were the chance packs, but I take it that those sold out as well. They're now being resold for $12. And that is the homepage. So good stuff. I mean, they put out packs, the packs sell out. What more can you really ask for? The other thing to consider, though, or to talk about is the other sports, or at least NBA collectible that's doing numbers right now is Panini. The only problem is I don't really know how to talk about Panini. I don't even know if I go to their website. I'm not even sure. I don't even know where to find their. Hold on, Panini NBA NFT. Because I know that someone sold something that they hit from one of their packs recently. Like they also have packs that are selling out very quickly. And there were some hits in those packs that sold for quite a lot of money. The thing is, I don't even know if I have an account. Do I? I don't have an account. I don't have an account, folks. But I know that they had packs that just sold. I don't know, man. I just feel like people are buying and selling Panini and making money, which is great. But to me, I don't really understand the product still. I know there's some people on Twitter that I follow that are very bullish on Panini. There's a guy named Spinotron. Um, but I don't know. If we're just looking at the product, I can't look at this product and tell you that this is a way better experience than Top Shot. I just can't see it. The only thing that this does hold over Top Shot is the fact that it's like a one-to-one replication of what people are buying in the real world, and therefore it's going to be easier to bring those people onto the blockchain. But I just don't really see it. I think that yeah, it's like a digital signature of a static card. If it somehow gave you access, or if it somehow gave you like a one-to-one of the physical card, then that would be super cool. And I think there's a website called Courtyard that actually does exactly that. There's also Arena Slab or something. Isn't it called Arena Club? That's another one. So if you've ever seen this, uh, hold on. Where is it? Here. Arena Club. If we go here, this is what this one basically does. So I've also never done this one. The prices are actually pretty high as well, but you can see, I guess they have different entry levels. But if you take a look, you can see the kind of stuff you can rip. And basically this is just like a digital representation of the physical item that you're ripping. And I think that they also might even have a buyback thing. But you can see what the hit rate is, 2%, and then it costs $50. So I don't even know like if these are good deals or not, but this is just another product out there that is doing similar idea type of thing, but this is literally tied to a physical collectible, and they're not selling this based on the digital collectible sides. So it's hard for me to look at something like this or look at the Panini one if we're talking digital, if we're talking the sort of the enjoyment of collecting digitally. There's just nothing, in my opinion, that comes close to what Top Shot, and for that matter, the other ones as well. They may not be as successful, but like, you know, if you look at UFC or even Golazos, I mean, have you ever even looked at Golazos? Like, if you're a big soccer fan, have you ever looked at Golazos? It's actually super cool. They just didn't have the proper manpower behind it or marketing approach or whatever, so it fizzled. But you know, those products are cool. They are immersive, whereas a static representation of a digital card to me is not. But because you have the brand name power, then you're going to have people that make their way over from the physical to digital who understand it, because they can say, hey, I have that Sean Kemp signed autographed physical card in my collection, and now I get to have a digital version of it too. How fun. The reason why this is obviously good news for people who collect on Top Shot is that the more people that start to understand the attraction of collecting digitally, the better. So Panini might feel like a competitor, but I think at the end of the day, you want more people collecting digital, just period. You don't even really care what they're collecting, because eventually people will be attracted to the good stuff. And I think that Top Shot has a good product. QA says he doesn't like static cards. Peachy says, for example, the Lonzo Ball denied moment should not be a rare. Oh, okay, here. Some of these rare sets have watered down moments, says Peachy. For example, the Lonzo denied moment should not be a rare based on his stat line. It's kind of whack. Yeah, I haven't taken a look at that stat line or that Lonzo. I guess we could, just for the sake of conversation. So if we go to Top Shot, I'll go look it up. You know, it's just possible that was just a really nice block and it's not really about the stat line, but let's go look it up and see if I'm right or wrong or what's going on here. So let's see, let's share it. There is the Lonzo Ball denied. Here we go. Let's ball, because right now the Bulls have the ball. Lonzo chase down block, and it's a really nice athletic volleyball swatting style of a block. So I understand why they chose the moment. But the problem that Peachy has is that not only did the Bulls lose that game, but Lonzo only had 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 single block, which was that block. So I guess they even work it into the description if you're reading that. So yeah, I don't know. I guess if you're sort of a stickler for wanting moments from a player when they've won the game or when they have a nice stat line, then I can understand why that sort of irritates you. But if you're just collecting the most entertaining blocks, which is what I think these set collections are supposed to be about, then maybe it doesn't matter. But if you're a Lonzo Ball collector or a Bulls collector, you might not want a moment from a game in which they lost or a game in which Lonzo Ball only had 3 points. So I get what you're saying there. Top Shot Hotshot says, Panini blockchain is a step towards Dapper products. More people are slowly realizing the benefits of digital, but haven't fully discovered the potential shown by Dapper. Baby steps. Yep, I would agree with this comment, Top Shot Hotshot. Peachy said it could have been a hustle and show. Also true. Perfect Cereal says, rares have been rough for a while. I would have to go and look at what's going on with rares, which I haven't really done for a little while. But if we go look at what is trending at the moment or what the new moments are, you can see that we've got these Hoop Vision commons, which are kind of fun. I like the artwork there. The breakout rares, I could understand why you could say that these have been rough because these are not really star players. They're just players that are having a good season. Here's the legendaries. I mean, some people were not thrilled about these legendaries because these are not your normal legendary players. The legendaries are basically the same idea as breakouts, but on a legendary tier. So Peyton Pritchard having a really nice season. He's there. Same thing with Monk, Claxton, Trey Murphy, etc. It starts these conversations kind of around collecting versus speculating. I mean, that's kind of like the best way to break it down. And if you are like a pure collector, then you're happy with a set like this because it's telling a certain story about the season. It's telling a certain story about these players, right? Like you don't necessarily want this set isn't supposed to have your typical stars, your LeBrons and your KDs and whatever, like you've already had a bunch of times. Like the whole point of it is that these are breakout players. These are the breakout players. It's basically it must be if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if these players have legendaries already. Does Peyton Pritchard have a legendary? I felt like he might. I actually don't know. So now I'm not sure. Let's go see something real quick. Peyton Pritchard. Did he get a legendary in the finals? Pritchard. Let's go take a look real quick. Did he get a legendary in the finals? I don't think so, right? No. Yeah, so I think that these are the first legendaries as well. So it's basically the same idea as the breakout, but it's legendary. It's legendary tier. Bodthewine is here and he says, I'm way too late. I'll tell you something, Bodthewine. I was talking about these Reese's rounds just now. And I was talking about how I told you last week that they were no good. But when you're sitting at your desk and you're getting a little hungry, and these are just sitting there looking at you, staring at you, saying, come on, try me again. Maybe this time the peanut butter tastes better. You never know. And then you have one and you're like, it's still not that good, but I'm fat. And so you just keep eating them. And that's what happened. I probably ate all 6 in one day. Maybe it was over 2 days. Maybe I'm a little less fat. But I did eat a whole sleeve. I'm not happy to report that. I am not happy to report that I ate the entire sleeve of Reese's Rounds. But I'll tell you right now, this unopened sleeve of Reese's Rounds is going to remain unopened. Okay? That is a testament to my willpower. That sleeve will remain unopened. Next week on Tandy Time, I will reach over and I will show you a sleeve of Reese's Rounds unopened. But Botwine says Buttercup's taking over the Netherlands. Still haven't tasted them. I really want to try them, but the tariffs are too high. Perfect Cereal says, I love the idea of a set being a player's first appearance in the tier. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, Perfect Cereal. I mean, I think some people weren't happy. They're like, why are these legendaries so low priced and such? But, legendaries are becoming rares. But I don't, if this is a platform about collecting, then, and the fact that this is the only legendary of that player, then I'm not so worried about it. That's why I wasn't really worried about the breakout series either. Because if it's the only rare of that player, then I think that's fine. I think the problem is when you make like another rare, let's say of Cade Cunningham, right? And we saw this happen this series already, where Cade Cunningham's cheapest rare was like $50. And then just because of the way the NBA season works, they had to do another moment of Cade Cunningham as a rare. And what happened is, that was the video game numbers. And interestingly enough, look at this. Hold on. Am I sharing the screen? Interestingly enough, and this is good to see, is that the video game numbers is actually at $58 right now. So if I'm not mistaken, that's gone up quite a bit. I want to say that was at like 20 something dollars before. I don't think it was this high. So that is definitely good to see. And that's like what you want to see. You want to see that these players whose rares were kind of well priced considering are remaining well priced because we're not watering them down. And like you kind of want to see that happen across the board. You want to see the other players also get their rares kind of burned away and their pricing of their rares become more respectable. $55 for Cade Cunningham rare is correct. I mean, we'd like to see it higher, but that's correct. You shouldn't be able to buy a star player's rare for like $20 or less, because in my opinion, that means the market is watered down. So like if you take Jason Tatum, who's had a lot of rares released in his career on NBA Top Shot, if you take him, you can see that he has a recent rare that's $15. And I would say that that's problematic. Problematic. And, you have a bunch of rares here under $20, 15, 16, 18, 19, 19. Those are 5 unique rare moments that are all under $20 for probably a top 5 player in the NBA. That isn't right, if you ask me. And that's why, and I'll do your Bernie Sanders Bothavine. I don't have my filter on, but we have a problem on this marketplace on NBA Top Shot. For too long, the millionaires and the billionaires have oversaturated the greatest players in this league. We've seen wonderful players who are MVP candidates, such as Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum, a player who could be the most valuable player this year. This year, he could be the most valuable player. You could make an argument. You might see some votes come toward Jason Tatum that don't go toward SGA and Jokic. Jason Tatum could be your number 3. And Jason Tatum has rares that are $15. And although we like this for the lower and middle class of NBA Top Shot, we don't like this for the health of the marketplace. We need a healthy marketplace so that everybody can benefit from a healthy marketplace. For too long, the millionaires and billionaires at the 1% of the 1% of the top collectors of Top Shot are the ones benefiting from these kind of decisions. Oh, geez. Look what you guys make me do every day. Anyway, that's pretty much the idea that Bernie Sanders just helped me explain. That was a pretty spot on. Bernie says Top Shot Hot Shot. The international Top Shot proletariat should stand up against supply. So good. Keep going, says QA. Yeah, so we're almost at an hour, unbelievably. I can't believe it. I didn't think we'd get this far, but we did it. Every time we do it, and every time it's a surprise. Every time. Because like before we started the show today, I wasn't even sure. Like lately, I'm not even sure if I'll be able to stream half the time because it just gets crazy at my house around this, on a Thursday. My son has activities. I might be working on something. It just gets crazy. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. But we keep going. We keep grinding. Mike Weisberg is here with 2 minutes left. Hello, Mike. But yeah, I feel like we pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. Is there anything else? Any final call outs that you guys want to discuss? Oh, there's something I wanted to talk about. Badawine. Remember, we talked about that instant noodle soup or that ramen soup that was from the Netherlands that had a chicken sitting in a gift box with his legs hanging out the side of it. And let me tell you, it was a spicy chicken flavoring, right? I tried it, and that was unbelievably spicy. That was unreal. I felt like that chicken. It was very tasty, but it was unbelievably spicy. So if you haven't had that lately, Badawine, go ahead and have it. But really, I was like coughing and choking. It was really spicy, but really delicious. Maybe one of these days we'll do a mukbang. I don't know yet. I don't know. Maybe we will. Thank you, Badwine. I mean, Top Shot Hot Shot. I appreciate you as well. And did I talk the Celtics sale? We did, Weisberg. $6 billion. It's a lot of money. It's from Korea. That's right. It is from Korea. Those Koreans know how to eat spicy food. They also know how to make Netflix shows. I'm busy trying to watch Squid Game #2. I'm pretty late here, but trying to watch Squid Game. Another show that I wasn't able to finish, which I was enjoying, was Batman. Penguin. I'm trying to finish that one too. I just don't have time. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to watch shows these days. My daughter keeps waking me up twice a night, so I'm like always tired. I can't go to bed like at 1 a.m. because she'll wake me up at 1:30 basically. Badawine has also seen the front lines eating that soup, so very nice. QA, consistent Tandy, respect. Thank you, QA. $7.3 billion for the Celtics, says Weisberg. 6.1, just the majority sale. I'm sure that Weisberg has a lot to talk about the sale of the Celtics. I'm sure he's going to want to talk about that. Maybe go check him out on Team Hold. I'm sure he's going to want to talk about that. Or when they stream live at the next Celtics game, I'm sure that Badawine. Why am I calling everyone Badawine today? Weisberg will definitely have a lot to say there. But that's about it. And that's also another reason, by the way, that we're not going to see reductions in NBA seasons anytime soon. As long as the Celtics are being sold for $7 billion, we're not going to see any reductions in games. We're only going to see more games for sure. But I think that's it. We did it, everybody. We did it. Thank you for being here. Go check out that Collecting and Connecting episode. I'm going to try to make some content, actually, the way I usually do, where I make a little bit of content and share it on Twitter. I mean, that's kind of the stuff I'm still doing with Top Shot. Knock on wood, I'll be able to do more in the future. And who knows, maybe I'll even write emails to you or send you TikToks from them again in the future. Who knows? But that's something I plan on doing because I think that's a good story about the guy that won the Kia Telluride. So we'll see something about that. Look out on Twitter. And that's it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hope the weather's nice. And we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.
Static Selector.